Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, first published in 1847, is a groundbreaking novel that combines elements of romance, Gothic fiction, and social critique. The story follows the life of its titular heroine, Jane Eyre, as she navigates a world marked by class inequality, gender expectations, and personal hardship, ultimately seeking love and independence on her terms. The novel begins with Jane's difficult childhood. Orphaned at a young age, she is taken in by her aunt, Mrs. Reed, who treats her cruelly. Jane is subjected to emotional and physical abuse by both her aunt and her cousins, particularly John Reed. After a heated confrontation, Jane is sent to Lowood School, a charity institution for orphan girls. At Lowood, Jane endures harsh conditions, strict discipline, and limited resources. However, she forms a meaningful friendship with Helen Burns, a kind and pious girl who teaches Jane about resilience and forgiveness. Helen's untimely death from tuberculosis leaves a profound impact on Jane. Over time, conditions at Lowood improved under new management, and Jane excelled academically, eventually becoming a teacher at the school. Yearning for new experiences, Jane advertises her services as a governess and is hired by Mr. Edward Rochester to care for Adele Varens, a young French girl under his guardianship. Jane moves to Thornfield Hall, a grand yet mysterious estate, where she begins her new life. Mr. Rochester is a brooding and enigmatic figure, and Jane is intrigued by his complex personality. Despite their differences in age and social status, the two develop a deep connection based on mutual respect and intellectual compatibility. Jane's time at Thornfield is marked by strange occurrences, including eerie laughter and unexplained fires, which add an element of Gothic suspense to the narrative. Jane and Rochester's relationship deepens, and he proposes marriage. However, their wedding day is interrupted by the shocking revelation that Rochester is already married. His wife, Bertha Mason, is a mentally ill woman who has been confined to the attic of Thornfield Hall for years. This revelation devastates Jane, who refuses to compromise her moral principles by becoming Rochester's mistress. Heartbroken but resolute, she leaves Thornfield to seek a new life. Penniless and alone, Jane wanders the countryside and is eventually taken in by the Rivers family, St. John, Diana, and Mary. The Rivers siblings treat Jane with kindness, and she soon learns that they are her distant relatives. Jane inherits a substantial fortune from a deceased uncle and decides to share it with her newfound family, embracing a sense of belonging and independence. St. John Rivers, a devout and ambitious clergyman, proposes marriage to Jane, intending for her to accompany him on a missionary trip to India. While Jane admires St. John's dedication, she recognizes that his proposal lacks love and passion. She refuses, staying true to her desires and emotional needs. Haunted by memories of Rochester, Jane experiences a mysterious and supernatural moment in which she hears his voice calling her name. She returns to Thornfield Hall, only to find it destroyed by a fire. She learns that Bertha Mason set the estate ablaze before taking her own life. In the process, Rochester was severely injured, losing his sight and a hand while attempting to save his wife and servants. Jane reunites with Rochester at his new residence, Ferndean Manor, Their love is rekindled and they marry. Jane's decision to return to Rochester is rooted in her recognition of their mutual equality, as his physical vulnerabilities have humbled him, and her newfound independence allows her to enter the marriage on her terms. The novel concludes with Jane's reflection on her contented life with Rochester, their enduring love, and their child. Rochester eventually regains partial vision, symbolizing hope and renewal. Jane Eyre is a richly layered novel that addresses themes of social class, gender roles, morality, and the quest for self-fulfillment. Jane's journey from a marginalized orphan to an independent and self-assured woman challenges the conventions of Victorian society. Her resilience, intelligence, and unwavering commitment to her principles make her a timeless and inspiring heroine. Bronte's masterful storytelling and exploration of complex emotional and ethical dilemmas ensure that Jane Eyre remains a beloved classic of English literature.